got the wheezes, asthma. You know, the neighborhood I live in all have lush grass gardens, and their trees, magnolia trees and dogwood trees and pine trees, and there's shrubbery and there's flowers, and I am allergic to it all. It has been a terrible summer, and my parents are so concerned. You know, they're always whispering about me. And the result of that, Sally, your mother and I have decided that we are going to send you to boarding school for 6th grade, a boarding school in Chicago called the Town School for Girls. Motto, we make ladies out of girls. Now this was 1945. Please do not do the math. And in those days, when parents told you to do something, you did it. You didn't talk back. You didn't get angry. You didn't stamp out of the room. My father said I was going to boarding school, and so be it. In August, the packages began to arrive. The hideous little pleated brown skirt, the horrible brown wool sweater, the little Peter blouses with the Peter Pan collar, and most of all, the horrendous brown Oxfords, the school uniform. Well, it was about a couple of days before I was to leave, and I went in the kitchen, and there was my mother putting a picture of me up by the kitchen clock, a round kitchen clock. Mom, how come you're putting my picture up there by the clock? Well, Sally Joy, you know I spend most of my life in the kitchen, it seems to me. And so every time I come in the kitchen, I'm going to look up at that clock, and sweetheart, I'm going to send you loads and loads of love. Well, it was decided that my father would be the one to take me to school from Gastonia, North Carolina to Chicago on the Pullman Train. I got to sleep in the upper berth, and I pulled up the little shade on the window at night, and I saw the black shadows of the South pinpointed with light speeding by. And the next morning, I sat on the bench with my father in the Pullman car, thinking about going to Chicago, when he pulled out a watch from his pocket. Now, this was not an ordinary watch. This watch had a secret compartment. He pulled back the back of it, and there was space there for treasures like the fur from my rabbit that had died, little strands, or maybe a petal from a flower. But this time I looked, and there was a picture of me. Daddy, you put a picture of me in your wallet, in your clock. Yes, I did, Sally. You know, I take this watch out of my pocket, maybe a dozen times a day. And when I do, I'm going to open the secret door, and there will be your picture. And you will know that I am sending you all of my love. Now, the Town School for Girls was a 3-story brick building set in a landscape of concrete. It was positioned very close to the sidewalk, which bordered Lakeshore Drive, which bordered this huge cement wall that kept out Lake Michigan. Our playground in the rear of the school was all cement, nary a tree inside. The interior decor of the school, brown linoleum flooring and Venetian blinds. No dust in the carpets, no dusty drapes. I did not have asthma. I thought I would be homesick. My roommate was very homesick. She cried every single night for weeks. But I thought becoming a lady was really exciting. Did you know that if you become a lady, you need to know how to ride a horse? We had horseback riding lessons once a week, and I got to go to the theater, and I got to hear the Chicago Symphony do Peter and the Wolf, and the Chicago Ballet do the Nutcracker, and there was the subway and the elevated and streetcars and buses and high-rise buildings, and there was friendship, and there was mischief, like the condom last. One of the girls had picked up a package of balloons on the playground, tossed over the fence by a passerby. They were all pink in color, but they did not blow up well. But if you put them under the faucet and put water in them, they got longer and longer and longer. Water balloons, water balloons. Now, there was a back door to the school that went from the playground into the school. The 7th and 8th grade girls were out in the playground. The bell rang. They were to come into school. The 6th grade girls, we rushed up to the 2nd floor where the window overlooked the doorway. We opened the window and threw out the balloons. Pow, pow, pow. Such screaming, such pandemonium. The house mother rushed up the stairs, looked out to a field of deflated condoms. We were grounded for a week. It was worth it. Now at the town school, they had clocks in every room. They had clocks in the schoolroom, clocks in the hallway, clocks in the dining room, clocks in the gym. They had a huge grandfather clock in the foyer. So, you know, if ever I felt sad, or if ever I thought, I wonder what my mother and daddy are doing, I would go out and I would find me a clock. And I would look up at that clock and I would think to myself, I bet my mother is in the kitchen sending me love. Or I bet my father is looking at his watch and sending me loads and loads of love. I was never sad. Thank you. And if you want to know what time it is, I can let you know.